The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Wednesday, the 14th day of June, 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical Wells, and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sherry Vanderpool, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Happy Wednesday, Sister Sherry.
Happy Wednesday.
One day closer to your favorite, huh?
One day closer to my favorite, and exactly a week today will be my birthday.
How old you go?
49.
Good stuff. Looking 16, girl. Go ahead now. Go ahead. Look at me getting some points this early in the morning.
You did. And that was so effortless. Like you did quite, it's in you, Jamal, and I'm so proud of you.
I'm getting better.
Yes.
I'm getting better at this. You all didn't give me no hope before. No, shaming me every 2 seconds. Yeah. So what were you doing for your birthday? Because I ain't got no invite to no party or none.
No, you haven't, but I will be traveling over the weekend, so that's kind of part of it. And then the following Saturday, I'm gonna have dinner, I think, and so forth. Nothing too big. I'm gonna save it all up for the, big one next year.
Like the 5-0?
The 5-0. And ironically, Jamal, out of my friend group, I'm like the youngest. Like everyone turns 50 this year.
Oh, so basically you're saying that they're all old?
Yeah, they're older than me. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay. Cher's friend, she just called you all geriatrics. I'm just saying. But I had nothing to do with that. But hopefully, Maya and myself, we got an invite to the big 5-0 next year,
Maya, definitely. You have to, meet some criteria before we can, I might have the audience help me to decide if you should come to my 50th celebration. We'll see who loves you then, Jamal.
We all know Sherry loves me to pieces, folks. I'm her favorite, so we all know I will be there. She probably asked me to be, the guest of honor. Or how she, Sherry loved me. So, it'll probably be something big like that, yeah.
Okay, no? Carry on.
Okay. All right. Greetings, everyone. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. So look, we've got a good one today. Dr. Ian Walker from the Bermuda Aquarium Museum and Zoo. He's stopping by. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. One of my favorite parts of working in tourism, Sherry, was when we would, take people down to the aquarium. Everyone just thinks animals, right? It's a great place to have like a 50th birthday, but it's a great event space. It's a great, got a lot of great event space, but it's also one of the most educational places to go on the island. I think, when I see people saying, nothing to do in Bermuda, it's definitely a place like, it's not the traditional just go and look in the big fish tank. Like it's different areas. And if you're getting a tour with someone, you're learning so much. So I'm really looking forward to having Dr. Ian Walker on the show. Folks, so Sherry got a little jealous yesterday, right? When it came to the daily play. She thinks I give hints. And
you do, Jamal, just not to me.
Sherry, I didn't have a good hint that she was going to get the answer. I never do.
It doesn't matter.
I never give Larry hints.
Yes, you do. Or you say to me, oh, I think this is easy. To Sancha, oh, it's an author. It's a male author. Oh, this has to do with sports.
Really? Let me go back watch these shows.
I said, okay. And you did it to Larry as well. Oh, it would be. And I'm driving.
Favoritism or bias, Sherry?
And I'm driving and I can't get to the phone fast enough to be, because then that's a whole nother thing.
So you think there's some sort of favoritism or bias, Sherry?
Against me, yes.
Oh, okay. I'll leave that to the courts to decide, or the audience. But
Talk to the board.
yeah, folks, the Daily Play is music today, and I don't usually give hints on the music. So just saying, whatever card I pull out that's what we like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, let's jump right into it, folks. You've got Charles saying 50 is not geriatric. I didn't say
He's absolutely right.
I did not say 50 was geriatric. I said Sherry was calling her friends geriatric. She said she was the youngest. That's what I was referring to. Yeah.
My friends aren't geriatric either.
I did not say they were. I just said the way you said all of your friends, you're the youngest of them. I was just insinuating you were saying they were geriatric. But thanks for clearing it up. Good morning, Karen Simmons. Happy hump day to you as well. And all right, let's just jump right into it. So do you all read like LinkedIn articles yet? Do you guys so on LinkedIn, if you go on the homepage, I know it differs based on where you are. So Bermudians probably won't get the same news of what we get sharing the LinkedIn news one. And I only realized that when I was in Bermuda, it picks up, I guess, your location IP address. But there's some articles every day. Unfortunately, there's companies letting people go daily, like Grubhub, the latest, letting go few thousand of their employees and so on. And then there's the part where, companies are closing down. Just Wall Street the other day, a Wall Street article mentioning that more and more office space is vacant. All right. And someone actually asked on Twitter, it could be one of our people in the audience, Misha Fabla, I think he asked, has anyone done an analysis to see how this is impacting Bermuda? With less office space and how it's impacting the banks, because the article was saying that it's impacting over 300 banks. And we know what happens when, people don't pay their loans in banks and, that R word and so on. But the question,
or they outsource.
Yeah. Well, I mean, banks, I mean, once the banks are hit, they I mean, the R word comes in. I mean, I don't want to say it, but R word session, But anyway, here's the thing, folks. I know that I can be hard on Bermuda as a destination, especially the organization responsible for promoting Bermuda. And that's because pretty much having worked in that space and obviously being a part of another space over the last few years has given me a different perspective from the outside looking in. But all that said, I really do believe that Bermuda is a prime destination for both business and tourists alike. And so the question of the morning, reading so many LinkedIn articles, is just asking the audience. We try to discuss solutions as much as possible on this show. And I'm telling you, some of the private responses and DMs I just got last night, and I'm not sure if I can share some of them. And, Maya would probably say, no, because, I just blab sometimes and share people's conversations. I don't tell people who it is, right? But I'm not going to share any DMs today. I promise you.
Can you share kind of scenarios of the DMs? Like,
that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm
thinking. Like, so, not just.
Okay, so the question was, how would you sell Bermuda as a destination? How would you sell Bermuda as a business destination? Sorry. How would you sell Bermuda as a business destination? And we know that, decision makers watch this show, they listen to this show, they share WhatsApps about the show, they tune in, right? And that makes me happy that they're at least listening. But it would make me extremely happy if they took what was said and put it into action. So the question of the morning is, how would you sell Bermuda as a business destination? And someone shared an article of a local bank in Bermuda that's global. I mean, it's not too many to choose from. And they said, if only they treated Bermuda like this. And I said, well, that's tough because they don't value Bermuda. Bermuda's so small to them. And then we don't have enough political clout to kind of get them to work with us to ensure that they can do this for Bermudians. And the person said, and that's part of the problem, and that we just lack the people, politicians and spaces that can get things done for Bermuda as a business jurisdiction. Now, if politicians, and this is not Bermudian politicians, but Jonathan Smith's former senator said it when he was on the show, to be in politics, you need an ego, right? It's just what it takes. He said that's why he never really got back into it, because he doesn't possess that kind of ego. I'm not quite sure the egomaniacs we have in politics. And I don't say that to be insulting, but when you have such an ego, you don't believe that you don't have the ability or skill. You believe that you can go in these rooms and get things done. Despite your track record saying you're 0 for 10, you still think that you can go and get it done. And so I think that's part of Bermuda's challenge of getting businesses and corporations to consider us as a business destination at this point. Now, people will say, well, the Bermuda Monetary just registered 500 new reinsurance companies and da-da-da-da-da. Let me be clear when I say this. Selling Bermuda as a business destination is what Ron DeSantis in Florida just messed up with Disney. Disney was about to relocate thousands of jobs outside of Orlando from California. That's what I mean. Elon Musk, like him or not, him relocating his operations to Austin, Texas from San Fran area, Silicon Valley, right? That's what Bermuda needs. We've known since the OBA was the government that we need people in Bermuda. We know even more now that we need people in Bermuda. The way to get people in Bermuda is through businesses, getting businesses to relocate, getting businesses to create jobs and opportunities. When you create jobs and opportunities, Belco, food, electricity, stuff like that actually helps the middle class. It helps drive prices down because there's more people in there paying into the system, even payroll tax. So again, question is how would you sell Bermuda as a business destination? All things said. What you got, Sharon?
No, I was going to ask, and what kind of business do you think would be the most attractive to Bermuda in the sense of the ones that you spoke of course, are on this larger scale that I don't know if Bermuda could necessarily handle in that sense. But what area would we even begin to focus on? And I think that's probably the first question on what is it that Bermuda can focus on and what can Bermuda handle in that entirety. So are we
government, we should focus on crypto and fintech and that kind of stuff, right? But I think first, I think the first question is how would you sell it as a business destination, right? Once you know how to sell it as a business destination, you don't then whittle down to what kind of businesses do you attract here, right? So traditionally it's been captive reinsurance, right? Some will say banking, some will say IT and tech, compete with Silicon Valley. I've always said I would rather turn Morgan's Point into a business hub rather than another hotel and whatever. Like, I just feel like that's an opportunity to give Bermuda a chance. I remember them talking about turning Southside St. David's into a tech hub, like opening tech businesses down there. If you ask me this question, well, let's go to Instagram and I'll give my opinion. But the question was asked on our Instagram stories, right? How would you sell Bermuda as a business destination? And so here are the responses we got on Instagram. We got, there would have to be far more concessions for local SMEs before being considered a biz destination. So basically, concessions, if you look at the Fairmont Southampton situation now, I think that's a concern with many Bermudians, the concessions that are given, 15 years, allowed to build multiple units on the property. There's concerns from the greater public, right?
Right.
Concessions for local businesses. I mean, do you all think that local businesses, small businesses should get more concessions? What are your thoughts on that? I mean, what kind of concessions? I wish this person would have explained a bit more, like what kind of concessions that they'd be looking for. But what are your thoughts on that response? And then another person says to the question, how would you sell Bermuda as a business destination? They said, well-regulated financial jurisdiction with business professionals of the highest caliber. I mean, that's pretty much where I was going with it. I mean, we're a destination. I mean, I'll tell you mine after so long. And then someone else, Bermuda weather all year round, modern society, short commute to work. So let me add, I'll just say this part. How would I sell Bermuda if you sent me out to attract a business to Bermuda? And I was meeting with a couple of CEOs, their board, and I said, look, Bermuda is perfectly located, which I know they say. It's very close to New York City, most on the eastern seaboard, and it's right in between Europe and the US. So location-wise, it's perfect. And I know many companies don't want like the remote work at this point, work from home. An office in Bermuda, you can get people to work in Bermuda in the office because they get to go home and enjoy the beautiful paradise. They don't have to worry about the hustle and bustle of a subway or crazy traffic in Atlanta or Boston. So the commute is attractive. And most of all, they don't have to worry, well, depending on tax bracket these days, they don't have to worry about the insane tax situation that they have to worry about in the US. So those are 3 points that I think make Bermuda a bit more attractive than some other destinations.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And we can speak about those things as well, Jamal, because I'm sure those are some of the things that we miss ourselves being living out here in Florida and Georgia. I just think that it has to be something that it's the risk that we take. It's the risk that we take to venture into these areas that we haven't before, because we've looked at all of these, like as you said, the fintech, the all of the other stuff that seems to either haven't come to fruition or has not given us a great return. Because I don't know what return any of that has done. Do you? Or like, I don't know.
Honestly, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I stay in my lane with this. When I worked for Bermuda Tourism, I was in charge of driving businesses, like their groups and conferences, their incentive trips to Bermuda. I don't know what it takes to actually get a business to relocate, but I would think that I would use similar tactics to what I did in my tourism space. Without knowing the actual laws is a bit difficult. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is more surface like, what? I mean, I guarantee someone can give a good point on this show that they could probably consider. Sam Cat Place. Folks, what are your thoughts? How would you sell Bermuda as a business destination? She says, Jamal, they know, but they always need to take a piece of the pie for work they haven't done because their egos won't see it any other way to get the business to operate here. Interesting. So you mean getting paid off? That's what she means, Sharon?
I took it, either getting paid off or not putting it out there so that they can receive all the residual funds from it. You know what I mean? And you don't have to break off a piece of the pie.
Okay. Let me ask the audience this: yes or no? Yes or no, folks? As Bermudians working in Bermuda, yes or no? Do you think Bermuda is an attractive business destination? Yes or no? Just give us a quick yes or no. Do you think Bermuda is an attractive business destination? Sherry, do you think, I mean, and I think we've been blessed. You're in Atlanta and you've worked in Bermuda, between Bermuda and the US your entire life, basically. Do you think Bermuda, when compared to spaces you've worked in the US, would be an attractive destination for people you've worked with in the US?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay. I would say yes and no. And the reason I would say no is yes for maybe people in New York and New Jersey, no for people in Florida. And the reason I say no for people in Florida is because they believe this is paradise. This is, we have the businesses in Miami and Fort Lauderdale and Palm Beach and the billionaires and like over on Palm Beach Island. Talker's Town can't compare to that. So I think it's iffy. I would say yes, New Jersey, New York. They would see Bermuda as a business destination. Yeah, Atlanta. I'm not sure about South Florida. I'm not quite sure. Especially,
I can see that.
Yeah, with the no taxes. There's no state tax here, so I think it makes it a very attractive if so many businesses relocating. So again, do you think Bermuda? Yes or no? Do you think Bermuda is attractive as a destination? Mark Arthur C. Phillips says yes. Traveling Trotty says yes. Sam Cat Place says absolutely. Karen Simmons says yes. Sean the Shield says no. Misha Fabla says yes for everything excluding banking. All right. Chikarena says yes, but not for cheap labor jobs like some call centers. Thank you for saying that. Good point. And that goes back to what Sherry was saying about what kind of businesses, right? Because we have to define that, and we'll probably do that in subsequent episode, right? But we have to define that because Bermuda's a in-betweener. We can't have
too much,
and we can't have too little. Like you're not going to bring a call center to Bermuda. It's just not going to be able to do anything for the economy, the people, and the economy. All right. So how would you sell Bermuda as a business destination? Charles H. Jefferson II says, "I know I keep saying this, but focusing on making Bermuda a great destination for visitors is key to making us a great destination for business. Once the regulations are in place, there needs to be more." I think everyone would agree with Charles.
Yeah. I could definitely see that being hand in hand, especially if you have persons coming on business but end up being there for vacation or vice versa, or you have a business situation in Bermuda and you're trying to partner with other people. It can go hand in hand. So I definitely see what Charles is saying.
Indeed. Sean Smith says, yes, great place to raise your family and achieve work-life balance as part of one of the benefits. Jarian Richardson says, agree with Charles. Make it easy to do business, e.g. increase transparency in government processes such as permits, increase efficiency such as moving all processes online. I will say, I always thought Bermuda was one of the most advanced countries ever, but we still lag behind in so many areas. And
so many.
I guess it took me to really work for other companies to understand how far we were behind on certain things, because I thought Bermuda was a leader in most things until you start doing this comparative analysis. Like, hold on, only this, only that. Thanks again to Mark Phillips. I see that you're celebrating 8 months as a TDH community member, and to everyone who's a TDH community member, we have got some good information for you coming up about the restaurant crawl and hopefully the podcast soon. So do not go anywhere. Restaurant crawl going to be good. Should I tell them one of the restaurants that's going to be participating?
Sure, yes. See, Uncle Grump.
No, I ain't going to do that. I wonder if Maya's ready for the news break. Bring Maya in for a little conversation. And I wonder what she thinks. How would she sell Bermuda as a business destination? Because she's pretty, I think she gets it as a business, as an entrepreneur. I think she gets it. Yeah. I think Bermuda will always be home. We will always be, no matter how far we go. It's the place. And I say this with all my heart. We don't have to love the politics, the politicians, or the government to love the country. Just keep
about him.
Yeah.
Something about it.
All right, folks, we've got Dr. Ian Walker coming out from the Bermuda Aquarium Museum and Zoo. But before that, let's bring Maya Palacio in for the Daily Hour news break.
Good morning.
Greetings, madam. How are you?
I'm doing okay. A little sleepy this morning, but we're doing all right.
Well, you work so hard. Of course you're going to be sleepy. I mean, she's like, I mean, I know people used to say this growing up, Sherry. They used to say, oh, they're like the Energizer Bunny. They just keep going and going. Remember those commercials? And I'm just like, man, we got to take care of ourselves. We are not batteries, man. Sometimes you just got to take that day. I had something up on my WhatsApp status the other day talking about rest or something. I said, if we don't take our rest, our bodies will do it for us or something like that. Yeah. So,
I believe that.
Yeah, I strongly believe that one.
Yeah. But I mean, Maya, if this makes you feel any better, I had one of the best sleeps I've had in probably months last night. Like my dad called me about 8 something. I'm like hanging on it. Finally, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it, bro. Like, so I legit slept from probably just before 9 to my alarm went off at 5. Had a very relaxing 2-miler this morning and walked another mile. I actually checked my blood pressure on point, and I was just like, it's a big difference.
You're very proud of yourself, aren't you,
I
am.
know.
Kamal?
I am. I had to share that, and I hope it inspires somebody else. I'm sorry. Anyway, sorry, Maya. Go ahead. It's not
Well, I'm
about.
so glad you had such a restful sleep, Jamel. Just knowing that you've had such a restful sleep makes me feel like I've had a restful sleep. Like honestly, just knowing that just puts it into perspective for me. I just
So,
feel your sleep.
well, thank you, Maya. But
That
before
was
we get into the
shady.
yeah, before we get into the news break after all that, yeah. Just what would you say? I mean, it's asking a question this morning about what would you say is Bermuda's best assets in terms of selling us as a business destination? Like, how would you sell Bermuda as a business destination?
I think I would sell it this. I know we had a similar type of conversation, not a business destination, but similar in the past.
Mhm.
Just as I think, putting my words together in my head first, like the laziness that we have. I don't know how to. That you don't have to.
Relaxed.
You don't have to rush. You don't have to hear the hustle and bustle of the highway,
Yes.
all of that. So yeah, I think I did mention it, but just the fact that you can go to the beach and just like chill. Like there's not that many activities like we complain. There's not a lot of activities in Bermuda, but that could be our best asset sometimes too, because life can be so busy and bussy everywhere around that you never really get a chance to just look at the sky, look at the ocean. Let me just lay down for a bit. So like there is that. There's that big, juxtaposition between being busy all the time and then actually being out there and being able to just reconnect.
You know what Maya just said reminded me of a guy. He was recruiting for a CEO for Bermuda Tourism, and he said that he must ask staff like, "What are the thoughts on Bermuda tourism?" And people were like, "Bermuda's boring." And he said, "But let's say it is boring. There are people who like boring. There are people who just want to do nothing. There are people." Maya just turned a negative into a positive just now, and I don't know if she
Yeah.
can do that, but that's literally like sometimes just turn those things that you may not like into positives that other people may.
Mhm.
Thank you, Maya. That's why we asked the question.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. I just want to start this news with actually stating something that the Minister of National Security, Michael Weeks, has stated last week when we had the tragic fatal collisions going on last weekend. So the Minister of National Security, Michael Weeks, expressed his deepest condolences to the families and friends affected by the road traffic incident over the weekend. And he stated at the bottom of his press release, the minister says these incidents serve as stark reminders that we must urgently address safety on our roads. He closes by saying it is our collective responsibility to ensure the well-being of everyone on our roads, and we must take action to prevent further tragedies.
Mhm.
Now,
Yep.
So coming up in our carnival news, everyone knows carnival is like right on the way, so it's definitely something I want to mention. It's a big thing in Bermuda. Well, there's going to be a lot of local headliners, preferably people that you probably know. So looking at this photo here, you got DJ Rusty G, Fire Wayne, and Panaflax, and more to deliver exhilarating performances at Bermuda Carnival. The highly anticipated carnival in Bermuda is set to be for a captive audience, says the press release, and an extraordinary 5-day extravaganza from June 15th to the 19th. And just so you know a little bit about DJ Rusty G, I'm sure we know him very well locally, but he has a staggering of 14 bookings during this carnival in Bermuda. And he's already made international stage performances in Trinidad, Germany, London, Miami just earlier this year. He's known very widely for his seamless blend of music genre. And then he stated also, DJ Rusty G, that he is honored to be a part of the carnival in Bermuda and represent our local music scene. Carnival Bermuda allows us to showcase the incredible talent we have right here on island. And he says, I'm thrilled to share my high energy sets and love for soca music to create an unforgettable experience for everyone attending. Adding to the excitement, as we stated, Fire Wayne will be releasing a new song, the one titled One Blood, set to become the Bermuda anthem leading into Carnival in Bermuda. And additionally, local headliner Connor Flax will join the lineup, bringing his new single, Best Time, and Teeth Wine to the grounds of Evolve, Swizzle, Sunrise, and Pure.
I was looking at this lineup like, okay, maybe that's just other people and stuff into John, but that's all Rusty.
Hey,
That's all Basti on the side there. I'll bring up
Wow.
the image again. That's all the
Yeah.
events that he is definitely doing on his own, attending as the DJ.
Dang. I hope he has drank a gallon of water, has done his exercise. Like I know he's prepared for these things, but mercy, Rusty.
let,
But I
let me,
love him.
let me say this, and I say this without trying to insult, because people think when you're complimenting someone, you're insulting another. And I'm not saying this just because she's in the room, but Teo Dill, Rusty G, and Maya Palacio are three of the hardest working people I have ever had the pleasure of working with in like this space. And I mean, in an entrepreneurial space like that. I mean, and I put them all in that same space because I don't think you all understand. Like I'll be texting her, yeah, man, I'm tired, but I got this event. Like without sharing private convos, like Maya just told you, like she's been going. It's a lot, but we only see like Maya sharing that those photos just now. You're seeing this excitement, folks. Appreciate these a lot while you can. Seriously, because I can't compliment them enough. So thank you, Rusty. Thank you, Maya, Teo. Yeah, you guys have set the stage. And Patrina. How can I forget Patrina? Power girl. My goodness, Patrina.
That is Energizer Bunny.
Yes.
That is the supreme Energizer Bunny.
Oh, dare I forget Patrina? Yes, like all four of them. Like it's just another level. So thank you to them. And I tell you all, appreciate them now. Because one day they're going to say, I'm done. I need a break.
And you'll treat Rusty G with kindness this weekend.
Yeah.
He's got a lot going on, so I hope he gets his sleep the way he needs it. But talking about Patrina, just to mention that the Athene Career Life Expo was yesterday, and I unfortunately wasn't able to attend, but the pictures and the videos and the sound and the speakers, it looked like it was a big event that a lot of people took part from middle school ages, high school ages, all the way to the people who wanted to maybe change their career. So that did happen yesterday. And for those who attended, congratulations.
Awesome.
Congratulations, you all.
Moving on, a little bit more carnival stuff. I know we talked about the excitement, but let's talk a little bit about the safety. When I talk about safety here is the road maps so that everyone sees them right there. There are going to be closures, so it's good to know where they are in what space, Victoria Park, and Palmetto and Bars Park as well. But as we talk about safety, Revelry Road will be like a 10 to 11 hour event that will take place on Monday, June 19th, starting from around 12 p.m. as well. You see the routes there as followed. Now, Carnival press release says Revelry Road is a thrilling and high anticipated event that brings excitement to everyone involved. As Bermuda stands as a unique destination, thousands of people gather to witness the festivities and celebrate from the sidelines. However, the organizers have noted a concerning trend of disruptive behavior by some spectators that compromises the safety of the masqueraders and undermines the overall experience. To address this issue, Carnival and Bermuda bans Party People Mass and Nova Mass have implemented comprehensive measures to safeguard the well-being of participants. A dedicated team of rope personnel and an extraction team have been deployed to remove non-paying individuals from the bans. Darren Woods, a spokesperson of Carnival in Bermuda, says it is essential for the public to understand the financial commitment and dedication of our patrons who invested between $350 all the way to $1,500 to take part in this exhilarating experience. They deserve to have their personal space respected and enjoy the celebrations without interruption.
I just want everybody to have fun, be safe, have fun, man.
Yes. The extraction team sounds scary.
Yeah. You don't want to be extracted, right, Sherry?
For real. Stay behind the ropes.
Stay behind the ropes. And meanwhile, the Bermuda Police Service says they will continue making periodic visits to island liquor licenses premises year-round to ensure the compliance with relevant laws to note any infractions. In a press statement, they said that they know that they are aware of a variety of public events that are scheduled at both outdoor and indoor venues, which may involve the sale and consumption of a lot of alcohol. So they're just putting out some reminders to the community of things that you can do to keep yourself and your friends safe during this time. If you're out on the water or if you are joining any of the events, they say don't drive, ride, or operate watercrafts while intoxicated. Same while if you're on the road, and don't let a drink out of your sight, and don't consume any drink that was left unattended. I'm very strong on that one as well. Always be aware of your surroundings if possible. Attend and leave parties with the people you already know. And finally, one from them is do not approach any vehicle alone if there are suspicious people nearby.
Good advice.
Everything Maya said.
Now, coming up with some community things that you can take part of, Bermuda Red Cross is partnering with the QBE Foundation. Is pleased to invite the general community to attend a presentation on climate change and Bermuda. So here are the dates that they will take place. They're having Dr. Mark Gouchard is a BIOS-adjacent scientist and a chartered meteorologist, and he will be leading these conversations as well about climate change in Bermuda, as well as globally too. So if you want to learn about it and see what's happening on island, what you can do, what you can know about it, this is an opportunity to gather some information about it and attend.
Miss Dr. Gishart, but lovely to see him in that space helping out.
And finally, on my news break today, we had them on the show before, but the local learning center is up and running, and they're getting ready to tutor starting July 4th to August 17th. Now, remember, obviously, you can go if you are struggling and need this assistance, but if you're also doing well, it's a good opportunity to connect with college and university students who are Bermudian, who could give you some insight on their experiences, what they're doing, and help you further your transition on as well. So parents, if you're tuned in, grandparents, anyone, or even the young people who may be considering it, take the option, join, and see what you can learn. There's no reason not to.
Congratulations to them. Honestly, props to them, the local learning, and take advantage of it, folks.
Yeah, it's free learning. We could all use it.
Yeah.
And closing up with the weather for today, everyone says we're going to have a few showers and a chance of thunder early this morning, but it's looking kind of sunny. So let's keep our fingers crossed. But first day of the summer, we have a high of 81 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're in the 80s today.
Yeah. And before you do
State
news,
of summer's a week from today.
before you end your news break, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I think it's been a full month since Marco Warren's incident, right?
I think it's been a little over a month.
Little over a month. And I just want to say this, I said this on this show a couple of weeks ago, that these things happen and we tend to forget. And we may not do it every day, but every now and then I just want to, repeat that there's someone responsible for his death.
Yeah.
And my hope is that we can speak something into the conscience of the person to make them do the right thing. If not for themselves, for the family of the victim. If not for the family of the victim, for your family, for your friends. Because I'm sure if it happened to one of your loved ones, you'd want someone to do the right thing. So again, sending his family strength, courage, love, everything they need in their time of grief, which probably will never end. Over time, it may get easier, but I think we need to do better as a community. So, Sherry, you got some days of the year for us?
I do. Every year on June 14th, organizations all around the globe celebrate World Blood Donor Day, an event that raises awareness to the importance that donating blood means to the health industry, as the range of uses is way more diverse than anyone thinks. From plasma treatments to research, emergency uses, donating blood has been an important cornerstone that has aided the world on several occasions. So if you don't donate blood, today's your day. I have to admit and be very vulnerable, I have never done it. Have you, Jamel?
No, I was told I couldn't because of my tattoos at one point.
Oh, you can do it now.
Yeah, I
think
can
it's
now. Yeah. Now I think they say if you've had one within the last year or something, but actually I have had one in the last 6 months.
I'm laughing because Maya's like, no. You could still do it.
No. Now they say in the last year, and I had another tattoo last 6 months. So I think now I have to wait 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah. Get it out of your system.
And I learned that from Cristiano Ronaldo. He said that's why he doesn't get he doesn't have any tattoos, so he can give blood, which is very admirable for a person who everyone thinks is egotistical. But that's very admirable. Maya, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
All right, folks, do not go anywhere. If you appreciated the discussion this morning and the Daily Hour News Break, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. I'm saying Samcat. Shana Smith says for tattoos, it's in Bermuda, it's 3 months now. Okay, perfect. So
sort your life out, Jamel.
Yeah. Rosalind Famous says, and happy 80th to Mom Famous. Happy 80th birthday to Mama Famous. Yes, happy 80th.
Fellow Gemini.
Yeah, Shara's claiming people again. All right, let's take a quick break. We've got Dr. Ian Walker from the Bermuda Aquarium Museum and Zoo coming up. Really fun conversation, folks. So you don't want to miss this. Stick with us. Coming right back after this break.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level.
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field. Number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Welcome back to the big show. Sherry Vanderpool, I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Please don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Trust me, you do not want to miss the updates for the restaurant crawl. Sherry, you coming to the restaurant crawl?
I believe I will be there.
You are. Okay. All right. Sherry will be there.
You tell me I have to be.
You can still come, folks. I mean, I know you weren't thinking you wouldn't be, but you can still come. Follow us on our website for updates. Follow us on our social media channels for updates as well, and just help us grow beyond this mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. We've got Dr. Ian Walker. Let's give him a warm TDH welcome as he comes to the stage. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good
morning. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. So let me just share this publicly. So Dr. Ian Walker was one of my favorite people when I worked for the Bermuda Tourism Authority because, we would bring people down to Bermuda and they were looking for unique venues to hold events, meetings. They were looking for, things to do, Bermudians. You think, let me check this. Hold up. Before we even brought Dr. Ian, I should have asked this question. When was the last time, audience, answer this question. When was the last time you've been to the aquarium? Answer that question while we get into the conversation. Sherry, you looked up in the sky. When was the last time you've been?
It's been a while. It's going to be some years.
Okay.
Now, as a taxi driver, I've dropped people off at the aquarium. That one might have been about a year or two ago. But me personally going through the aquarium, it's been a little while.
Okay. Well, audience, let us know when was the last time you've been, and we'll get the conversation going. But Dr. Ian Walker, obviously you have extensive experience beyond Bermuda. Just tell the audience a bit about your background and your role at the Bermuda Aquarium Museum and Zoo.
All right. Well, thanks, Jamal. I appreciate the chance to be on your show. Been really enjoying the show up to this point. So yeah, my background, I'm a veterinarian. I specialized in exotics. I was the associate veterinarian at the National Aquarium in Baltimore, which was an absolutely fantastic job. And since 2004, I've been at the aquarium, more recently taking over the principal curatorship there. But it's an absolutely fabulous place to work, great team, lots of fun. And I feel we do some real great stuff for the community.
Alrighty, our audience, they're no fun because they're a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong, but of course they've recently been to the aquarium because they're such community people. Audience, we asked you, tell us when was the last time you've been to the aquarium, and of course, recently. Manuela John says April 2023. Karen Simmons says Lionfish Championship, April 2023. Media Maya, our colleague, she says, it's been a minute. I went for enjoyment, but always engaging with them through Noah's Ark. I plan to go in August with my friends visiting down. So our audience, they've likely been there, but I'm happy that you've been there because there's a lot to do at the aquarium. Again, it's an experience.
It's definitely an experience. And Dr. Walker, the aquarium, as all Bermudians refer to, because we definitely don't say the Bermuda Aquarium Museum.
Right.
We have to shorten things. It's the aquarium. It's a staple experience for every child. And I think it's most children's first life event, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take you to the aquarium. So tell the audience about the experience the aquarium has to offer.
Well, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's from a standpoint of the community. You're starting at sort of age 0 going up, and most people stop coming, when their children turned into teenagers. Although we do have some teenagers that keep going. So yeah, but it's a great place, a safe place for kids to come down, for adults to come down, enjoy what Bermuda has to offer in terms of learning about our environment, which is so important. You were talking a little bit about why businesses would relocate here. And personally, I can say, having lived in Baltimore, I love the fact that we have this beautiful environment around us and I don't have to commute very far. So that would be my thought. But yeah, so from that standpoint, learn about your island, learn about why the environment's important, why we have to protect it, and then also learn about islands around the world. So our mission is to inspire appreciation and care of island environments. And so not only do we focus on Bermuda, but we do focus on other islands such as Madagascar. That's been recently getting some good hits on Madge's list on Facebook, mainly because of our loud lemurs. But you know, it's a great place to come down and learn about things. And also, some people are afraid of certain animals, so it's a great way of introducing students and children to things that they may already have a fear of, and they need to get over that so that they can pass that love of the environment to the future generations. So that's kind of our mean. And I would say, yes, everyone calls it the aquarium, but our zookeepers need a shout out because they do a great job too, as does our museums. So,
as a summer baby, because that's who I am, right? My birthday is next week. And again, it being one of our first events that we go to, I definitely was going to the aquarium during the summer. So tell us about the new exhibit and the summer experience.
Yeah, so summer experience is always busy. We have tons of kids coming down because we have our camps going on. Those are very, very popular, almost too popular in some regards, because we've had some challenges selling them online, and our camp 60 spaces will sell out in a minute 36 seconds to people's they just cannot believe they'll sell out that fast. So it's busy. We have lots of kids around. Obviously, we have visitors coming through, to tourists. It's great to have the cruise ships back and forth. That's making a big difference to us and also to our charity's bottom line. So that's fantastic. And then we have all the exhibits open. Well, we'll be open for summer. Our new exhibit, which will be opening shortly, we just did a VIP opening so that we could show our donors what we've done to date, is actually called A Tale of Two Islands. And it's around our touch pools, which were very popular. We had to close that down, mainly because we had an older building and it had some issues. And so we decided to put a Band-Aid on it because we hadn't raised money to create a new exhibit. And I opened that Band-Aid exhibit to 5 inches of water because a very timely water heater decided to explode. So we just shut the door immediately, ripped out everything, and started again. And so they've been closed for a little while, but I'm happy to say that they'll be opening shortly. We'll be open for summer, so you can come down and enjoy those. But the exhibit is a graphic novel. It's the first time I think anyone's ever done something like that. Every single piece of artwork has been done by the artist. And it tells the tale of Nonsuch Island, which is this incredible living museum off Bermuda's coast, and then also Trunk Island, which is the Bermuda Zoological Society's living classroom. So our aim is to get numbers, up to 3,000 students a year out to that island. And it just tells about the story of both islands, what they mean to Bermuda, the amazing conservation work that's gone on there, amazing stories like Dr. William Beebe in the 1930s and his dives off Bermuda. And it also introduces you to some new Bermudians who are coming up, such as Dr. Miguel Majias, who is a young Black Bermudian who's just got his PhD in ornithology and is really becoming a name in that space. So it's a cool exhibit. Everyone who's come through says this is a really cool way of presenting information. It's not like your typical museum stuff. We have our museum, which is fabulous. This presents information in a slightly different way that's perhaps more attractive to students, kids of all ages.
Nice. Jamal, I don't know if you heard it in that conversation just now, but it sounds like a TDH trip to the aquarium happening very soon.
I think we should invite the TDH community, some of our audience, out with us to experience the aquarium. So now I just want to touch on Trunk Island because, again, working for Bermuda Tourism, Dr. Ian Walker just mentioned Trunk Island. Trunk Island is the island out there in the middle of the Sound where they take a boat from the aquarium out there. Had I not worked there, I would have just thought it was just a, unused land out there. And the things that you had said back then that you plan to do with it, and to hear you say getting 3,000 students out per year, like, folks, it's an experience. But do you, we got to continue the conversation. Do you offer it for, because I know you were doing a Halloween experience at one point?
Yeah, we are. We'll probably do that again this year, although I can't actually, we haven't planned that yet. So it's probably in the works. But it is this living classroom. We've just done some renovations on our cottage so that the porches are much larger, which means that you can hold classes in more inclement weather, which seems to be May and going into June, although in August we'll be thankful for it. So yeah, and it's amazing. And we're also putting in other habitats. So we're putting in a red mangrove exhibit. We're putting in a black mangrove exhibit and telling the difference between those two important habitats. So yeah, it is. And we're slowly returning the island back to native and endemic forest and teaching students, adults of all ages, how to do that. We have been taking the sort of same classes to Nonsuch, which is a lot further away and so a lot harder. So you can take the numbers. Plus now Nonsuch is now absolutely critical habitat for our cows. So some of my colleagues have been working very hard. So Dr. David Wingate started that project. Jeremy Medeiros has taken that over, and the work he has done to bring back the cows to Nonsuch is incredible. But that is now critical habitat. So the more people go on that island, the more risk that you bring something out there that you don't want, like an Argentinian ant or something like that, which could have a devastating effect on burrows out there. So we don't want to do that. So we thought, well, let's take the pressure off that. Let's put them onto Trunk Island. We can teach the same sort of story, how to turn things back to native and endemic habitat. And then also now our microforest project, how to do it in your own backyard or your communities or something like that, how to increase our biodiversity on the mainland, which is quite hard because 98% of our forest is now invasive species. So it's teaching people how to do it. So yeah, it's sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I was like, this is your passion because you can just go and talk about it all. But continue the conversation. Why is conservation so important for Bermuda, and how does the aquarium go about educating people on it?
That's a great question. Well, I think islands are inherently they're constantly on a knife edge. You can bring anything in, and all of a sudden it takes over. Our species are not used to competing so much as their entire being. So say cedar trees, for example, their whole thing is like, how do I tie myself to this rock so when the hurricane comes through, I don't get blown down? The invasive species grow a lot faster and will smother our native and endemic species much more quickly. So we have a option of losing biodiversity and losing some of these important species to Bermuda. Not only that, but our coral reefs are super important to us. Without them, we're basically a sandhill in the middle of the Atlantic. And that will get washed away really quickly if we don't protect our reefs. So having students have that inherent love, knowledge, passion for the environment is important, because you don't want to have a generation that says, I don't care about it. It's so important to our survival that it has to be maintained. So we have to have the next generation. So we want all our students to come through with that sort of understanding and that knowledge and that realization that this is important. And then we want some of those students to take it to the next level and say, okay, I'm going to be an advocate. I'm going to dedicate my life to this with my, my learning and stuff like that. So like the Dr. Miguel Magalhães of this world and others, they've done those studies. So what we do from an education standpoint is the Bermuda Zoological Society, our support charity. They pay for all our teachers. We have recently just signed an MOU with Cedarbridge, and so we've been working in the school for over a year now, since last September, bringing STEM or introduction to STEM classes to Cedarbridge students, which has been absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it's bringing students of all ages into and slowly incrementing that knowledge so that they have a good basis of what our environment is and why it's important. And sorry, I can keep talking like this for days.
No, that's good info.
And I'm back here just like, So you're very engaging, and we definitely appreciate that. Tell us about your Bermuda Turtle Project and why they are so important for the environment.
Sure. Yeah. Well, Bermuda. So turtles in Bermuda, sea turtles, are an incredible species. They've been around a lot longer than us, and we've had the longest running in-water sea turtle course in the world. So 50 plus years of getting data. So we have a very good understanding of sea turtles on our platform. And yeah, sadly at the moment, there's certainly a big decline in the numbers. A few years ago, everyone was like, oh, I see turtles everywhere. And now we're not seeing that. And that's partly as a result of the collapse of our seagrass beds, which is happening worldwide. This is not just a Bermuda phenomenon, and it's not just related to sea turtles. There's other things going on. But sea turtles are essentially not having the food sources they need. We're finding some that are super healthy, but others that are just really weak, emaciated, and dealing with other parasites or other diseases as a result of not getting the nutrition they need. Or at least that is our understanding at this time. So, sorry, yeah.
No, I've got the audience loves you. I've got a lot from the audience, so I'm going to go to the audience real quickly. Let's go to, go ahead, Sherry.
Are the peacocks still roaming? Is the octopus still there? Is the tortoise still there? How old are they? It sounds like Maya went when one of her first visits.
Yeah. Well, octopus is still there, although probably not the same one. So they only have 2 to 5 year lifespan, depending on whether they're male or female. And then you've got our peacocks are actually within an enclosure currently because they got really excited by children with French fries. So that became slightly challenging for us because they knew how to fluster a child, so they would drop their French fries and then take over from that standpoint. So we had to put them in enclosure. I'm hoping in the future we can let them back out again, but at the moment they're in a timeout. And then we have our very loud lemurs, which has been making a bit of a splash on the internet.
I love the lemurs, man. I don't know why people complaining. I mean, they come over to you, they're friendly, and when you're there, they actually act like they're humans to me. So our red ruffs are particularly friendly, and they like to come over. Obviously, I'll just say for the audience, please don't touch them, feed them, or anything like that. But they have the opportunity to get away from you if they want to. They choose not to most of the time. Sometimes they'll be sleeping up in the trees, but they have a nice hello. It's just very loud. And I honestly think they use it as enrichment because they'll see a group of people come into the exhibit. And I honestly think it goes through their minds, we're gonna scare these guys. And then they say hello very loudly and they watch the humans run out. And I think it's enriching for them. They're smart animals. See, they're smart. Renee Simmons is asking, is the Bermuda volcano exhibit still there? That is interesting to see how big Bermuda could have been.
Yeah, so we do have our museum. So there's a central video there, about 4 minutes, which teaches you like Bermuda's start to Bermuda, where we are today. There's the sea level rise exhibit as well that sort of shows you what happens as sea level rises and falls, and how that changes our platform. So yeah, there's definitely all those exhibits that have always been there. The museum is a great resource, especially if you have children who are going through, having homework or stuff like that that's on Bermuda. You can get a lot of knowledge. Most people don't know, we have a public library upstairs. We're actually without a librarian right this second, but we do have a resource center for that. So you can get information on all the natural history of Bermuda that way. It's a great resource.
All right, Kathy Rogers, she says, perfect timing conversation. We came home yesterday to find a turtle in our yard, apparently an invasive species. Species. I planned on dropping it off at BAMS today. So speak to that. Like if people find, why is it so important to call you? Like people found a seal at the beach recently. Why is it so important to get in touch with you ASAP and to stop a spread or a virus or anything?
Yeah, so we do a lot of wildlife rehabilitation, and so we have a full vet hospital down at the Aquarium with a surgical suite, things like that, thanks to both the government and private donors. And so we can do quite a lot of work with animals that need to be rehabilitated. So like our sea turtles or our longtails, occasional cows, that sort of stuff. And then we also have, so we do a lot of work there. And then we have other species like invasive species like the red-eared sliders. Through no fault of the terrapins, these are a terrapin that's been brought in within the pet trade. They've been released into the wild when people find out that they're not they get bought as these tiny little 1 inch to 2 inch turtles, which have typically a plastic tank with a little plastic palm tree, and they look so cute until they grow up and they get long nails and they get bitey, and then they're like, okay, well, we've got to get rid of this thing. So they put them into our ponds or our, there's quite a lot in some of the canals next to Belco. And unfortunately, those animals actually eat Bermuda plants. They eat Bermuda killifish. They're actually damaging to our environment. And so we ask people, if they do find these animals, unless they're going to keep them as a pet, please do not put them back in the environment. And if you do bring them down to the aquarium, and I'm very honest about this, we do humanely euthanize these animals. Not something I love. I hate the fact that we have to do this, but there's just no way we can keep all of them. We had 900 come in one year, and it's just, there's thousands of them out there, but they are an impact. Now, those are the red-eared sliders. We do have diamondback terrapins, which are an important species to Bermuda, so we do make sure what we're dealing with first. And there's a couple of ponds out there that have diamondback terrapins around them.
Yeah, I want to say this real quickly. I may have mentioned this to Sherry and Mile on Monday, that I was out jogging a couple of weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago now, and usually I just see the wild rabbits on a regular morning. But this morning, it looked white and it had like a brown patch. So I was trying to figure out, and it started running next to me, not away from me. Right. So I was like, what? Trying to figure it out. It finally hit me a couple of days later. I Googled, I said, let me look up guinea pig. And it seemed like someone let their guinea pig out trying to get rid of it. Must have just took it out. I'm sorry, getting away from the conversation if we are, but just explain why. And you did it kind of just now to the turtle, but why is it so important not, once you're tired of a pet, not to just put it out into the environment?
Well, I think, the thing that everyone sees now is our sort of new national bird, chickens and things like that. They can actually do quite a lot of damage to farmers' fields, banana patches, that sort of stuff. There's no real method of controlling them. So there's no predators, stuff like that. So you talk about rodents, such as rabbits, guinea pigs. All of these guys are going to change Bermuda's environment significantly. So it's important that people don't release these animals into the wild. And otherwise, they're going to cause a huge problem. And island environments are particularly vulnerable to species coming in and taking over. And you don't actually know the impact of them until it's too late. So it's, for example, anybody who brings a snake into Bermuda, it's illegal to bring in a snake into Bermuda. If those get out, then our bird life has a problem. If you look at other islands as an example, such as Guam, they had the brown tree snake came in, and then within a decade, 90% of the bird life was eradicated. So it's one of those things where island environments are very, very vulnerable to invasive species, and it's on all of us to try and prevent that. Or we may lose what we have, right? There are important species that will disappear as a result.
Well, Renee Simmons is asking, wasn't gorillas on Trunk Island at one time? I think I remember that some time ago.
Wasn't gorillas, and I'm forgetting the actual primate species there. It wasn't on Trunk Island. It was actually Hall's Island, or as most Bermudians know of it, as Monkey Island. So that's also in Harrington Sound. It's the second largest island there. And they did a study, I think it was Yale and Harvard, did a study on epilepsy in primates. And so they had a scientific research program going on that island, which was why everyone remembers it. There was a time in Bermuda when quite a few people had monkeys as personal pets. And so, in fact, Dr. William Beebe, when he was here, had a monkey called Chiriqui that he took around with him and actually went down the bathysphere. But Monkey Island is what everyone knows. That was a research project. I'm not sure it was a particularly well-devised research project. Some of the research money got used on a ski boat. And I think they had a lot of fun. But ultimately, that was shut down and never, thankfully, done again.
You're a jokester, Dr. Walker.
That's funny. Speaking of Rita, she's saying, is the seal still there? Was Sammy the seal back in the day?
Sammy the seal. No, we have 3 seals at the moment, all females. This is not the seal that we rescued and then sent back to the States, correct? This is a seal that they. So I think Sammy the seal is probably long gone. They live, 30 plus years. So we have some of the oldest living seals in captivity. Archie, our oldest male, who passed away a few years back, he was one of the oldest in captivity. We do very well. In fact, a lot of my practice is geriatric zoo medicine. So I have treated peacocks for arthritis and things like that. And our Galapagos tortoise, who's there, he was wild caught off the Galapagos Islands in 1932 approximately. And he's got a little bit of arthritis in his back right leg at the moment. So, but he's 105 and just getting into his stride, like he's middle-aged. So
I think it's Archie she was talking about.
Oh, Archie. Yeah. So Archie developed a tumor on his right foreflipper. And so one of the surgeries we did was to remove, we had to amputate his right foreflipper. So we actually turned after hours the entire seal pool into a surgical theater, lifted an anesthetic machine in, did had surgical lights, everything like that, and did it there, and then moved him into one of our quarantine tanks. So it was quite a thing. And I gave him a 50-50 chance of survival. Seal medicine, seal anesthesia is particularly difficult because they go into a dive reflex, which can stop their heart and their breathing. So we ended up sort of going, well, this is the only thing that's going to help him, so let's do it and just hope for the best. And he snored through the entire surgery, and then did really well for a couple of years after that. So, but he reached his age limit. So.
Have you heard of Loggerhead Marine Life Center? Loggerhead Marine Life Center. It's in Florida. It's down here in South Florida in Juno Beach, Jupiter area. So I was there last month in May, about 3 weeks ago, and my previous time they didn't have anything there. So it's basically, folks, is a medical center for marine life, and there were a bunch of turtles in there and a couple of nurse sharks. But one of the turtles, they were trying to feed it. It actually had a lost flipper, like the front one, so it wasn't moving around. But I guess before you head out, we're heading into the summer. People get crazy on the water. I remember some years ago, non-mariners, I actually saw turtles coming above. Can you one thing that helped me think of is how humans impact marine life, and seeing these injured animals mostly from boats and then fishing nets and so on. What advice would you say to mariners, people in the waters this summer, in terms of protecting marine life and the environment just in general?
Yeah, I think it's honestly, it's empathy, right? It's knowing that you are sharing that environment with other animals that have been here a lot longer than us. They equally deserve to use that habitat. And while we're enjoying ourselves, I think we just have to keep it in mind that what we're using to enjoy that water, it can be extremely damaging to sea turtles. So if you go around various places in Bermuda, you'll see triangular signs, much like a road sign with a sea turtle on it. If you see those, that's the time to slow down, take in the the beautiful views, and just watch out for those guys coming up and taking your breath. Their biggest challenge is if they're sort of resting on the surface and they're sort of in a sort of sleep mode, and they don't catch the boat coming in time, and then you get hit. And they can deal with the most horrific injuries, and we do see them down the aquarium. Some of them we can save them, some of them we can't. About 30% can be saved. But we do see horrible injuries. So it's one of those things where if you do hit an animal and you see it, if you can, call it, stop, collect the animals, call us. If not, certainly report it so that we know that there may be an injured animal in that area. The other thing we see frequently is people fishing and they'll accidentally catch a sea turtle, which happens. And no one will do anything to you. But if you call us, we can actually, for the most part, either remove the hook or get rid of the line, which is almost the worst part, so it doesn't act as a saw in their intestines. So you can save an animal a lot of pain and suffering, and you wouldn't wish some of that stuff on your worst enemy. So it's important. If you see it, do something. Give us a shout. We have our hotline, so you call the Aquarium 293-2727, and then you do pound 999. That gets you to our animal emergency thing. You can leave a voicemail, that sends me an email, and I will respond, or one of my team will respond.
All right, Dr. Ian Walker, thank you so much for coming on. Please don't be a stranger. A lot of good things, and we're going to be planning this outing down to the Bermuda Aquarium Museum and Zoo. TBH crew, let's do it. Thank you so much, sir, and please keep in touch.
Thank you so much for inviting me on. I really enjoyed your show, and thank you again.
No problem. Have a great one. All right, Dr. Ian Walker, folks, if you appreciated the conversation today, you know what to do. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. I didn't realize you all loved the aquarium that much. I mean, you all into it.
I love it.
Yeah. I don't know if I should go there. Sherry seems like the type of person that would push me in the seal pool or something. But anyway, let's take our final break, come back and wrap it up. Oh, you're so evil.
Ordering from ER Fisheries has just gotten simpler. With just a few clicks of a button, you can place an order for next-day delivery or same-day pickup. Our ever-expanding list of offerings now include grocery pantry items, specialty meats, and bread and dairy items. We know things have been hard, and we're here to make planning for your next meal or party easy. Whether you're a vegetarian or a meat eater, we have what you're looking for. And best of all, it can be delivered to your door in 24 hours or less. Go to www.erfisheries.bm and check out our wide range of seafood, beef, lamb, pork, poultry, fruits, vegetables, and plant-based products, all available at reasonable prices. That's www.erfisheries.bm.
All righty, welcome back. Thanks again to Dr. Ian Walker for the Bermuda Aquarium Museum and Zoo for the conversation. Folks, again, if you appreciated a conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Thanks again to the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can have these community conversations on a daily basis. Folks, it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sherry, are you ready?
I am.
I don't know what the question is, so I can't give you a hint yet if that's what you're
Sure. Convenient.
This is easy, so I don't think I need to give you a hint. What did the Atlanta lady group Escape tell their dude to kick off?
The shoes.
See?
I just saw them the other day. Kick off the shoes and relax your feet.
But she wants a hint. Mm-hmm. So she's gonna use that against me and say, "Oh, he didn't give me no hint. You didn't give hints. Like I need a good hint."
Just kick it, Jamal.
Yeah.
You know your feet dangle, so you're kicking all the time.
Wow. Okay. So we got to end the show, Sherry. Your fans are saying, "Yeah, Sherry. Yeah. Anyway. Let's final thoughts on this morning's show. Bermuda as a business destination, and obviously the conversation with Dr. Ian Walker.
Bermuda as a business destination I think it's pretty evident on what we need to do. We just need to take the risk and do it. We have what there is to offer. We have a great community, as you said, sun, relaxation, and so forth. We just need to find a business that fits that well. As far as Dr. Walker, I was just mesmerized, engaged with his passion of the aquarium. It is one of our first events in life, and it's great that it still continues. I'd say just continue to support the aquarium and all its experiences.
Indeed, they're still laughing at you, Sherry. They think what you said about me, which was so rude, was funny.
It just slid in there just like that, you know.
Yeah, okay. I see where everyone stands on this, but no, I agree. As far as Bermuda as a business destination, I think Bermuda has a lot of great attributes. I think we, despite what people may feel, we're a welcoming destination. Bermuda is perfectly located. The climate is great. I think we have everything to offer except the highway. Honestly, I do. And that's a good thing. As Maya said, who needs the hustle and bustle? I think we need to turn the negatives into positives, because here's the thing that we have to be honest about. Your favorite destination, place you like to travel, chances are the locals there don't like a lot of things about it. So the same way we may have a lot of challenges and things we don't like about Bermuda, we have to find people who love those things and are willing to work on helping locals to change the things that they don't like. As far as Dr. Ian Walker, look, he's got a great personality, as you saw, but he's doing the work, man. Honestly, it was exciting that the way he made tourists feel when they came. It wasn't just about visiting the aquarium. It was about the experience that came with it, the explanations, the understandings, the growth of the organization, what they do beyond what goes in at just the aquarium as far as conservation and taking care of the wildlife, both plants and animals in and around Bermuda. So they're doing a lot of work, folks. If you haven't been, go and visit. Sherry, you've got some daily inspiration for us before we head out?
I sure do. The daily inspiration is being brought to you by ER Fisheries. The more reasons you have for achieving your goal, the more determined you will become. And that's from Brian Tracy. He's a motivational speaker from Canada.
All righty. Thank you so much for that, Sherry. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We're out. Peace.